This is Matthew Kratter's Bitcoin University. Today I want to talk about the perfect attack on Bitcoin. Here's how to construct one. Number one, don't make it about block size or consensus or something that makes people's ears perk up due to past Bitcoin wars. Number two, instead make it about mempool policy, which is boring, seems not especially important compared to block size, and makes most Bitcoiners tune out of the debate and conversation. Number three, push through a vulnerability and then tell people that they can't talk about that vulnerability or it will be exploited. Lastly, gaslight Bitcoiners into thinking that what nodes have always done is now a really bad thing for them to do in 2025. As Mechanic says here, quote, "You've been filtering arbitrary data out of your mempool for 15 years. Here's why that's suddenly dangerous. You need to stop," end quote. Number three in particular is quite interesting. Push through a vulnerability and then tell people that they can't talk about that vulnerability or it will be exploited. As BitMEX research writes here, another interesting angle is that many in the pro-NOTS camp are spreading a lot of fear and noise about CSAM risk. Ironically, this fear spreading and narrative will increase the risks of CSAM appearing on-chain to a much greater extent than the risks from increasing the default relay policy limit. This is a pretty ridiculous thing to say. If we think about it like this, Bitcoin Core says, we're enabling large op returns to be relayed in Core 30. Risk analysts come out and say, but couldn't that turn Bitcoin Core 30 nodes into a CSAM relay service? And then Core goes ahead and does it anyway, and then says, quote, "You can't talk about the change that we just made or people will exploit the vulnerability that we just opened up. And if this happens, it's going to be your fault and we're going to blame you for it." If you're enjoying this video so far, I'd pause really briefly to ask you to help to support this channel's mission. Hit the subscribe button. That does really help. Leave a like, leave a comment, question, suggestion for a future video, and share this video with a friend or family member. So in response to BitMEX, Nick Szabo had a great post. And indeed, the basic problem here seems to be a poor threat model, a lack of understanding of the threats, in particular the legal and moral risks that arise from arbitrary content that do not arise from financial transactions, being in the blockchain and being in the mempool, I would add. Failing to discuss these threats leads to a poor understanding of the threat environment. In other words, it's important to discuss these threats, and it actually helps to diffuse the threat rather than encourage it. If you want someone who's a great example of, as Nick Szabo puts here, zero cognizance of the threat environment, you can listen to Bitcoin Core lead maintainer Gloria Zhao. Let's listen to what she has to say about spam on Bitcoin.
If you don't like cat photos, you don't like wizards or whatever, that's like your choice, right? But I don't think this is not a legitimate transaction, or this is a waste of blocks, because NFTs are bad or whatever. I don't think that language has a play. Well, I don't think that should be considered when you are talking about writing policy code.
Yeah. Spoken just like you would expect from a recent UC Berkeley grad, so nihilistic, so relativistic, everything that we've been fighting against. Meanwhile, the CSAM idea has been out there for years, has already caused huge damage to BSV when they made the exact same change to op return in 2019, as we can see from this article from February of 2019 in the block. Bitcoin BSV's op return upgrade exploited to store child abuse imagery. A change to Bitcoin Satoshi's vision, it's neither of those things, but a change to BSV protocol has led to child exploitation material being posted to its blockchain. Nchain's BSV developer Shatters recently came together with developers and miners to lift the op return limits, enabling a single transaction to hold up to 100 kilobytes of arbitrary data. Does that sound familiar? Because that's exactly what just happened in Bitcoin Core. As a result, entire web pages, images, and audio can be stored in one transaction. The upgrade did not require a hard fork, etc. The child exploitation content was found to be uploaded through a transaction processed by MoneyButton, a BSV-specific wallet application. And here's the important thing, which applies to Bitcoin as well, unfortunately. BSV's immutable nature means that the illegal content will remain hosted by the blockchain unless developers agree to undergo a hard fork to roll back the unwanted transactions. I think Beautyon sums it up beautifully here. Magical thinking is widespread in today's infantilized society. There are grown men who believe that describing a problem can by magic make the problem manifest itself. Example here is if you're describing the CSAM problem with arbitrary. The fact of the matter is that in the Bitcoin space, a large number of extraordinarily intelligent people on every side and of every disposition are watching every release of the client, the new software client for Bitcoin node software, for an innumerable catalog of reasons. Ordinals came about because a single highly intelligent and insightful person realized that there was an exploit right in his hands. Make no mistake, these people are not dummies. They're misguided, and their energy and genius is misdirected. The same thing happened with Vitalik Buterin, who is without doubt highly intelligent. When he was rebuffed and excluded from adding his toxic ideas to Bitcoin, these were during the opportune wars of 2014, which we seem doomed to repeat in 2025. But when he was rebuffed and excluded, he went somewhere else to fulfill his dreams. He went to Ethereum. And you've seen the result. He's getting his revenge in the Ethereum attack. This is the attack that's trying to turn Bitcoin into something more like Ethereum. Anyone who knows anything about the history of software knows that bugs, introduced deliberately or not, are going to be exploited because there are super clever and motivated people looking for them as part of their routine. To claim in 2025 that exploits will come to Bitcoin, quote, because you are talking about them, is utter nonsense. It's another desperate attempt to deflect blame where it belongs and to police speech. Obviously, the blame belongs with the software devs who released this update of core that made it possible. No one with a single brain cell buys it, and saying it discredits the person trying to shift the blame. Great sweatshirt here saying one brain cell. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the subscribe and like buttons. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I publish my next video. And let me know your questions and comments in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.